feeling very proud, and I'm feeling that all the struggles that I did today in the past years, it is worth it. So that was the thing that kept me motivated during the entire journey.
Make a notebook full of examples, small examples, interesting examples that you will get in the internet while reading newspapers, magazines, all. And you will have to revise and implement them while practicing mock test or mock answers.
Talked about the motivation, from where you get the motivation to sustain this long time journey.
Good afternoon everyone. Hello, I'm Chaitanya Khemani. I've secured All India rank 158 this year. This was my third attempt and my second mains and first personality test. My option was commerce and accountancy. So anybody had commerce and accountancy is having? Okay, all right. That's very relatively a not so popular optional. For prelims, I would suggest to be very thorough with the current affairs, as well as to be very holistic in the test series to follow that, and also have a very good amount of pure guesswork is also very important. Smart guessing is very important. If we see this year's paper also, it's not possible that we'll be knowing each and every fact. So it becomes very important that we start doing smart guesswork. So that would be my strategy for the coming prelims next year. Coming to mains, I would say that we should always follow the standard textbooks and also practice a lot of answer writing, because it becomes very difficult to write all the 20 questions in 3 hours. That's the main task, to complete our question paper. The 2 times that I had written mains, I had completed 100% of my paper, and so that becomes very important, I feel, especially for GS4. We can see that it has become very lengthy. So to follow GS4, especially the case studies, writing is very important. This I would suggest for all the GS papers. Coming to optional, I'll not be able to help a lot of people, just one. For that, I'll say to follow the textbooks of our college, as well as to follow the standard textbooks of ICAI or CA Inter. That I found very helpful. Also to follow a pattern of that, I would say goes for all the optional subjects. I would say to follow good presentation is also very important, like writing with black pen, highlighting with blue pen. If that can be made within 3 hours, that is a very great strategy if we can do. The main thing is to differentiate our papers from the rest of the crowd, and to make our papers and our answers stand out. That is a strategy. Coming to personality test, I would say that we should always be very up to date and use our presence of mind during that phase. That would be my strategy for the coming papers. Any questions? Essay strategy, just practice writing essay. That would I would say.
So my question is, I am doing self-study, okay? So throughout the year, how could I judge myself? Am I doing the right strategy, or am I walking in the right path?
That becomes very difficult when you are pursuing self-study, but it is possible. I would say to get a community developed in Telegram, like you can find similar-minded people, connect with them, and then you'll be able to judge yourself as well as to put yourself that you're on the right path. I'd say that. Okay. Find friends of your similar age or similar background. I would say that.
Okay, one more question.
Yes, sure.
So, if I count 1 year and I am preparing for 1 year, in how much time I should complete all syllabus?
That would be very difficult. It depends on person to person. Like for me, it might be different time. For Ishan, it might be different. For Saurav, it might be very different. So it depends on person to person. And like I would also like to add that I was working full time actually. So that it would like with a full time job also, it is possible to clear the exam if anybody is also working full time. So it's possible to do it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Firstly, hearty congratulations to all four of you for making it to the top.
Thank you.
Once again. Yeah, and I had 3 questions. I'll place them one by one. Firstly, it's a long journey. 1-1.5 साल if you are giving multiple attempts. तो इस phase में how do you keep yourself motivated? क्योंकि थोड़ा तो cut off होना ही पड़ता है दुनिया से. तो उस phase में if you might feel like you're missing out on life, या फिर कुछ लोगों की शादियां हो जाती है, या फिर कुछ लोग they progress in life, but आप वहीं पे अटके हुए. तो खुद को मोटिवेट रखना कैसे आप लोगों ने किया, रियल लाइफ एग्जांपल. सेकंड थिंग इज कि जैसे वी आर ऑब्जर्विंग हिस्ट्री में या फिर से साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी में स्टैंडर्ड बुक्स से बियॉन्ड जा रहा है, तो आप कितना लंबा छलांग मारेंगे? हाउ डीप डू यू गो इनटू दोस सब्जेक्ट्स? जैसे अगर से बुद्धिज्म से या फिर जैनिज्म से स्टैंडर्ड बुक्स में कुछ दिया हुआ है, बट दे आर आस्किंग अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स जो आपको स्टैंडर्ड बुक्स में नहीं मिलेगा, तो आपका लिमिट क्या है, कितना अंदर तक जाएंगे? एंड द थर्ड क्वेश्चन इज कि अगर आप में से किसी का मेंस पे जो कंपलसरी इंडियन लैंग्वेज है वो अगर बंगाली रहा हो तो हाँ, तो उसका अगर आप थोड़ा स्ट्रैटेजी बता पाएंगे.
ठीक है, for the first question I'll answer कि it's not we should always focus on the end results that matters. When the type appreciation and the rewards that you get when you complete the journey, all the struggles, all the strives, it becomes worth it. Like even today I'm sitting and I'm feeling very proud, and I'm feeling that all the struggles that I did today in the past years, it is worth it. So that was the thing that kept me motivated during the entire journey. Coming to the question second and question third, I would like the rest of them to answer also.
So regarding your first question कि सबकी शादियाँ हो रही है, that is true यार, वो तो क्या ही कर सकते हैं. But कोई नहीं, अब one of my friends got married and I couldn't go because I had mains that time. So after the results came, I was talking to him and I told him कि यार you have a life, I still don't have a life. He said कि भाई जिंदगी तो तेरी है, मेरी कहाँ है अब. ठीक है भाई, कोई नहीं. And coming to the second question, history and science and tech. Look, I had history optional, so I wasn't very much bothered about the history questions as such, because regardless of how deep the question would be, I would be able to answer it because I had some history knowledge, of course, from my optional. And science and tech, I would take a counter view. I don't think that actually the questions are coming that deep. They are just asking questions which are not very common questions. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go into a deep dive and a deep study of all those science and tech subjects. Follow the current affairs. Follow whatever source you're following, regardless of
current affairs of like 2 years, 1 year, कितना साल का?
Current affairs?
Yeah.
2 years.
I would say 2 years, that would be better. It's not current affairs, no, it's contemporary affairs.
Yeah, it's contemporary affairs.
UPSC does not ask
Current
just
affairs.
exactly 1 year.
Yeah.
At least 24 months past 24 months is good enough.
You must be following some current affairs magazine or something, whichever it is, Mains 365, whatever you're following. So it can be APTI Plus, it can be something else. Yeah, IAS Gazette, जो भी है, वो उसमें सिर्फ 1 साल का नहीं रहता है. Sorry, I'm talking in Hindi a little bit. So whatever they're giving, they cover more than 1 year before that also. So that much is enough. You don't have to like go back and a deep dive of all what happened 4 years, 5 years back. So that much should be enough. And third question, I think.
Yeah, I had Hindi, so he had taken.
Yes. Okay, so I would like to answer your second question also. These days the prelims is getting very unpredictable. Earlier till 2020 we could have used the elimination option, but if you have seen this year's paper, then UPSC is not following a perfect syllabus. So it is fruitless to just run before books. There are endless books for each subjects. So it is best to first create a foundation and get your concepts very clear with respect to any social science or any subject. And secondly, it is important to connect the things while studying. UPSC wants you to be a thinking being. So it is not like memorizing the facts and directly appearing before the exam. So that's why UPSC is wanting you to be a thinking being and want to connect the things. Okay, so while you are studying geography, try to remember topics from environment. And try to remember how the ecosystem is working there, what are the human aspects, like human geography part. You should connect all the things and then only arrive at eliminating options. It is very important these days. And secondly, one more important thing I would like to add is the CSAT paper. People used to ignore the CSAT paper earlier, like 1 week or 2 weeks would have been sufficient for clearing the CSAT. But if you have seen this year's paper, it is equally demanding hard work throughout the year. So students, especially from arts background, they should give equal importance along with the GS papers to CSAT. And regarding the Bengal language paper, I didn't practice beforehand. So just before exam, I went through the past year's questions, mains questions, and that's all. It's easily doable. Yes, just complete the paper. Enough sufficient time is available in the exam hall, so you don't need to bother about that.
One of my friends came to me and the essay is like 150 marks, right? The 100 marks the essay. 100 marks ka the language paper has one essay. It should be around 100 or 150 marks. I don't remember which. He didn't attempt the essay because he didn't feel like attempting it, and then he told me ki will I pass? If you haven't attempted 100 marks, how are you expecting to pass in the language paper? Complete the paper. That is what I'm suggesting. Regardless of what, if you don't know, write something but complete the paper.
See, the language paper essay, for the 100 marks essay, you will be able to do it easily. And secondly, target the grammar part. it is scoring. So these two will give you passing marks.
Sir, grammar जो part है, is it enough to look at the past year question papers, or you have to go to class 10, 11 का जो grammar books है?
No. Past year's paper is sufficient. But if you have forgotten everything, like if you don't remember at all, then basic grammar books will do. And you are not supposed to attempt all the questions. Okay, and there are translation part also, English to Bengali, Bengali to English. That can be done by anyone.
You talked about the motivation, from where you get the motivation to sustain this long time journey. So I think my story can give you a push. I did my BTech in 2013. Okay, from 2013 to 2021, I worked in Haldia Petrochemicals Limited as Deputy Manager Materials Management in Kolkata office. From 2014 to 16, I did management degree from Indian Institute of Material Management, and from 2017 I started this UPSC journey preparation. I joined APTI Plus in 2017. In last 5 attempt till 2021, that is in 4 attempt I cleared prelims twice, and in 2021 I left my job so that I could focus solely on UPSC journey, and in 2022 I did all what I could do, and finally I can achieve this 601 rank. So first you try to find out why you want to join civil service. This question is very important before you are starting preparation, because this will only can sustain your journey for the long time. Because I have seen in my batch also there were more than 200 people when I joined. Right now no one is preparing. No one could sustain this much time. So if you can sustain, see, failure comes. Each and everyone faces the failure, but how to get back up, that is very important. And regarding, you told about marriage and all those things, so I think that pressure I also had when I was working. Because see, if you are not working, there is no issue. You can tell your parent that okay, let me do something, then I will do. But if you have a stable job and if you are running behind something that someone think that it is not so easily achievable, that time the parents would say, I think you should not leave your job. You should get married. And they were even started searching for girls. So that was the pressure. And I told them after 2021 prelims that, look, I want to do UPSC. Give me one time. Give me one attempt. I want to do it solely, and I did it. So whatever the sir has told, that if you can focus for 6 months or 8 months, nothing can prevent you. But the condition is that the strategy should be good, the guidance should be proper, that should be there. There should not be any issue. Like if you are, suppose the goalpost is there, and if you are running there, you cannot compete. So you must understand that this is the goalpost and I have to run in this direction only. So that is very important. Because I went to Delhi also, I saw a lot of people after 2 interviews, 3 interviews, they are still sitting. So the competition is huge. You need to judge your strength, that how I can excel. For few people, GS1 is strong. For few people, GS2 and GS4 is strong. For in my case, GS2 and GS4 is my strength. So I focused on those 2 subjects, that how much I could excel, how much I can maximize my marks in those 2 subjects. So that is the first thing. And second thing, you asked about the how much depth we should study, like Buddhism or Jainism. See, in prelims, if you will observe last 3-4 year patterns, I think from 2019 or 20, to be specifically 2020, you will see there is no pattern. They are asking anything. Guru Dronacharya Award, Arjuna Award, then Chess Olympiad. You cannot cover each and everything. Take my word, you cannot cover each and everything. That is for sure. So don't go about all those few things. That okay, I need to study the sports section and I need to purchase one book for all a sports section. There is no need. 2-3 questions you can leave. You can guess. If you can't guess, leave it. It is not going to make you any impact. But focus on the basic, your basic books, your basic study. Have faith on it. Yes, I have done enough. And you just add on the current affair part. That is enough. And the most important thing is the test series. The most important is the test series. You write 100 test series. Take my word, there is nothing that can prevent you to clear prelims. I have done it and I have seen it. So that you can do. if you can write 100 test series, no one can prevent you.
I'm sorry, just यहाँ पे मैं थोड़ा सा disagree करूँगा. You don't have to like focus completely on test series and all that. जितना तुम्हारा capacity हो, do that much. मैं honestly मैंने कभी उतने सारे test series मैंने attempt नहीं किए. So whatever your capacity is, do on that much. Don't have to overdo it कि सर ने बोला था कि 100 करना है तो 100 ही करना है, उससे कम नहीं करना है. So मतलब जितना हो सके तुमसे उतना ही करो.
So basically the thing is that what works for him might not work for him and it might not work for you. So it's a completely personalized approach you need to follow. Person to person depend करता है. ये चीज it's everybody will agree with us on this thing.
So the last thing that I would like to add is that you have to be innovative and creative in this process. Okay, everyone's journey differs. So what worked for him may not work for you. So you have to make your own plan. Don't just blindly follow any topper or anyone. Okay, you take suggestions, that's good, but ultimately you have to make your own plan. Be creative in answer writing and all.
And like, I'll give you one more example. Like he resigned from his job, whereas I continued my job. So
My
that
job
is,
profile was different.
Ha.
I was working in Tata Motors.
I
So-
wasn't working at all.
so that is a very like, so that's the difference. Like the result might be the same, but सबका approach different रहता है. So follow what works for you. That would be the end statement from all of us actually.
Regarding current affairs, there are numerous sources like we have to read newspaper, magazines, then Videozona, any internet sources, YouTube. So how to compress them into one and precise syllabus so we can just follow and cope up before the exam, all things.
Look, I'll divide this current affairs into like three parts. Interview का तो बाद में देख लेंगे, so don't have to worry about it. Mains and prelims. Honestly, I feel that current affairs and prelims is a little overrated, right? So there will be hardly 7, 8, maximum 10 questions that will come from current. That is also I'm doing an exaggeration. How much is that? 20 marks? The other 180 marks will come from your static portion, right? So I would say that for prelims, do not run after current affairs. Whatever you're studying right now, whichever magazine it is, whatever you're following, whatever your source is right now, do it. Don't have to overdo it. As far as prelims is concerned, the other 180 marks will come from your static. That will be the portion that will make you clear the cutoff, right? This is prelims. Now when you come to mains is not exactly current affairs, right? It's contemporary affairs. They ask questions which have been happening like for 2 years, sometimes 3 years. Not, you don't have to like study those things. Those are just events which are continuing to happen, right? For instance, if there is a flood which happens this year, there's a possibility they might ask it next year in the mains, right? They won't ask very specific details. They'll ask overall, if the flood has happened, what will be the approach to it? What is the community participation, how you'll do it, like that. So as far as compressing it is concerned, obviously you must be following some sort of magazines or something, right? You must have some sources, static sources, which are coming from that syllabus only. That will cover your entire portion of the current affairs as far as mains is concerned, right? You don't have to overdo your mains, your current affairs preparation, ठीक है? मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि 100 चीजें पढ़नी है फिर उसको compress करके एक नोट में लाना है, नहीं हो पाएगा. टाइम नहीं बचेगा, तुम रिवाइज नहीं कर पाओगे, बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगी.
So you have to follow only one magazine which is
Whichever you're following, whatever source you're following.
But we are adding disclaimer. It worked for him. Something different might work for you.
But
So
newspaper reading is
Yes, newspaper reading is extremely important.
And
You don't think you're reading a monthly magazine because you don't read the newspaper.
it will help you in some phase or the other. It will definitely
Yes.
comprehending the events. Okay, so my essay marks is 118 and my in ethics my marks is very low, like 99. So essay, I think if you are good in writing, it is a habit that you have inculcated since your childhood or your school days. Okay, so it helps a lot. Okay, it's not like in 1 year or in 2 years you will be able to excel others who have the ability to write very good essays. So yes, definitely it matters. Reading newspapers, especially the editorials, it will help. And start by writing. Okay, even if you read 100 good novels, it is not sure that you will write good essay. So initially, in the initial days, you won't be able to write very good essays, but gradually it will help you to understand how things work. Like where you want to put some quote of some famous author or like any other famous personalities, and the knowledge you will get from all the GS subjects, that will help in your essay. So essay should not be looked as a separate entity. Writing skill is important in essay, and taking the knowledge from the all other GS papers is equally important. So try to use whatever facts information you get from GS3 paper, suppose any economic facts, any facts related to human development, try to put it in the essay, and try to innovate what I said earlier. Start the essay with some stories. Okay, go through toppers answer sheets already available in the internet. So how they are writing, how they are phrasing the sentences, that is very important. So regarding essay, so regarding GS for ethics, Ishan scored 132, I think. So.
अरे नहीं अरे नहीं, he's get confused my essay and ethics mark. Essay I got 132, ethics also I also got 99. So 99. So for essay, I'll answer the essay question also. So look, I attempted around 8 essay mocks right before the maybe means. Don't think ki essay I can write good, so I'll go on the exam date and I'll write the essay. It won't happen. Okay, practice writing your essays. At least write 4 or 5 essays before the actual means paper. And I prepared the essay also. So I collected some topics which were very common topics like health, education, democracy, human rights. All these topics are very common topics. They ask questions regarding every alternate year or something. I made certain points which I would write in these topics, and I also collected some quotes. For health, I had different quotes. Education, I had different quotes. And I had a collection of like 50 or 60 quotes which I could use regardless of which essay I was writing. And also one more thing is UPSC is now focusing more on philosophical essays, right? They are focusing less on factual essays and all, which is good for me because I was always good at writing the philosophical essays better. Because honestly, I can't remember data and statistics and all that. So I always wrote the philosophical essays. Philosophical essays, you have to imagine that you are debating with yourself. Okay, you first part of the body you write something like you support the statement. Second part of the body I wrote ki I'm disagreeing with what I said in the previous statement, and then I used to conclude the essay and all that. So first thing I would say, if you're writing a philosophical essay, there are 2 approaches to it. Quote, so you can start with a quote, you can start with an anecdote. Use an anecdote if you can't remember a quote, which can happen very often. And one more thing I would say, that there are certain topics which they've given the form of quotes only. Don't use a quote in that statement. If they are giving a quote and then you're starting with a quote, it's very uncomfortable and very awkward thing. If they are giving a quote, then start with an anecdote. And if it's just a general statement topic, then you can start with a quote, right? And one more thing I would suggest, that if you're starting with a quote in your first essay, don't start with a quote in the second essay. You can use an anecdote in that. Otherwise, वो बहुत मतलब मैंने last year ऐसे किया था, repetitive हुआ था. मैंने last year यही किया था. I gave quotes in both and I got 114, right? So I think there is a correlation with it.
It's fine. Okay, so for GS4, I'll say like we can divide the paper into 2 parts. One is the questions and answers type, and the second is the case study. See, the first thing to do in GS4 is to complete the entire paper. That is a huge challenge, which I think all of us will agree. And I think this year the questions are also so lengthy and it's tricky. So questions go, you need to read it, understand, and then you need to write. So first of all, I'd say to analyze, start speed reading, I would say that, and to understand the question in a fast way and writing fast, that becomes very important. Coming to what to write now, I'll say to follow the standard books. I think 2 or 3 standard books are available. You can pick any of them or you can pick 2 of them and start reading that, and that I would say. And the second, coming to the case studies, I would say start practicing. I think kaun sa book hai wo? Lukman. I think Lukman is there. Lukman, I think. Lukman is there. Whichever you want to follow. I did not follow that book. I had followed my own notes. So I think that book has some case studies. So you can start practicing them for the case study. So and previous year questions, like what kind of questions were asked in the previous year, solve them, and I think that would be sufficient for GS4. That's the thing.
Since the Padma Awards, they have been giving it to many people nowadays, right? You can look at the list and you can see what contributions they have done, and you can make a list of like 10 or 15 like such personalities and what work they have done. You can use these examples in your ethics paper. They'll be very out of the box, and it'll fetch you some marks also.
Regarding ethics paper, I would like to add one point. If you have seen this year's question paper, then the 10 marker questions are changed completely. Okay, till 2021 they were different, like it was very easy. So in this exam I attempted the case studies first, and then I came back to attempt the 10 marker, and that's the blunder I made. So it was very critical, though 10 marker, but the sentences were very complex. We have to comprehend first, and then there was a huge time shortage for me. As he mentioned, it is very challenging to complete the paper on time. And secondly, make a notebook full of examples, small examples, interesting examples that you will get in the internet while reading newspapers, magazines, all. And you will have to revise and implement them while practicing mock test or mock answers. So that will help, because examples will only fetch your marks.
Adding to Ishan's point, what he has mentioned, that for essay, keep 10 or 12 topics ready at hand. Like for democracy, you can start with quotes. So if some question comes from democracy or climate change or education or women empowerment or something, you can start with quote or a story. And for essay, I have also gone through one book, Anudeep Sir's book, How to Write Essay. That is a very wonderful book. Yeah. So that book you can refer, and I have learned how to write essay from that book only. So that you can see. And for GS4, I got 107 marks. So I referred two books. One was lexicon for theory part, and for DK biology for examples. So you can use examples from that book. There are a lot of examples in that book, but right now each and every aspirant is reading the same book. So you can add more examples from newspapers reading. So from there, if you find something related to compassion, or if you find something related to integrity, or if you find something related to corruption, so you can just add on all those examples in your notes. So whenever you are making notes, keep some space, 1 page or 2 page. Like you have made notes on compassion, so you just start with any quote that compassion is the best thing, or something what Gandhiji has told, or what Mother Teresa has told. So you can start with quote, write 2, 4, 5 quotes, then write examples from books, and 1 page you just leave that. If I get something from newspaper, I can add on it, and then you utilize those recent examples. That will fetch more marks. And regarding the theory part, I would say that rather than writing in para or something, you can make flowchart, diagram. That will fetch more marks, that I have seen. So essay you don't need to write in para or line. You whatever you can make, any diagram, any flowchart, if you can make, you can get 1 or half marks extra. So that will increase your marks.
Yes, whenever you get the essay booklet, start writing it. Invigilator चिल्ला रहा है, रो रहा है, मार रहा है, don't forget. Just start writing it. जैसे ही मिल जाएगा.
I would disagree with that. Start when the invigilator starts, because he has the power to cancel your paper and he can take your paper also. So I will disagree with that.
I started writing it as soon as I
So he got lucky in that. So he got lucky in that, and I would say not to do that. When the invigilator starts, when the bell rings, then only you should start writing and say that. I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Sir. I had met him in Delhi also for my personality test. And so that time I recall I had said that I want to meet you in Kolkata now as a successful candidate, and so I'm grateful that I could do that. I would also like to thank ma'am.
just wanted to start from that. Like I was never a very good student in school, so I got 79% in my HS. So that's just one of a myth that you have to be like one of the toppers in your school and you have to be a very good student to crack this exam. It's not the case. So my journey started in 2019 in May, and coincidentally it ended around May only 2023. Exactly 4 years later. My rank is 234, as you can see here, and it would have been better if it had been 1, 2, 3, but well. So yeah, I was in Delhi actually for 1 year, and the experience in Delhi wasn't that good honestly, because I went there for coaching, but I didn't take any coaching. I used to stay in my room only. First, I used to study the entire day, because honestly I didn't have any friends in Delhi. When you're preparing for your civil services in Delhi, it's a very hard life, and you honestly don't have any friends there. They're all just co-aspirants who can help you, but they won't help you beyond a point. I remember sleeping on like these bed bug ridden mattresses. I don't know if you know what bed bugs are. So I had to sleep like without a mattress for like 6 months. So just so that I can sleep. Food was horrible. And, I won't go into all that details and all that. So 1 year later in 2020, I came back home, and since then I've been preparing from my home only. And coincidentally, I got the lowest marks in my prelims and mains in my first attempt when I was preparing from Delhi only. Since I came back to Kolkata, my prelims marks improved. I got a rank this year. So another myth that you have to move to Delhi to prepare. You have a very good help now here. So yeah. Apart from that, I honestly don't have much to share in my success story. Like, ma'am asked me to speak for 10 minutes, but यार 10 मिनट तो विराट कोहली भी नहीं बोलता, हम क्या बोलेंगे? Yeah, so I just like to share one thing about my family and all. I've grown up in a single parent household. My father brought me up from my childhood, and there were times when I used to see him go. He used to come back home at like around 10:30, 11, even 12 o'clock at night sometimes, and then he used to go for work again in the morning around 9:30, 10. And every time he used to go, I used to wonder that like I'm. मतलब उम्र हो रही है पापा की. I am also growing older and older. Like he's around 62 now, and in 62, if you're in government service, it's time you retire, right? I cannot tell him that because I have to prepare. And every time I used to fail at one stage, my father always used to say that don't worry, I am there. You'll crack it next year. You'll crack it next year. Incidentally, I cracked it this year. So I'm saying this because all of you will have your parents, will have your guardians at home who will be who I know you're all thinking that they're all investing so much in us. They're all believing so much in us. Can we actually repay that faith that they have? You will repay it. Don't worry about that. Don't think that if you fail in one stage of the examination, which will happen, that will happen, that is regardless of however brilliant a student you are. Don't think that your family will be disappointed in you. They will never be disappointed in you. They will support you to the end of your journey. They will support you even if you fail. They will support you even after you pass. They will always be there for you. So don't think that I failed. Oh my God, what am I going to tell my parents? They will give you so much encouragement that you will feel like abhi main jaake jang lad lunga. ठीक है? So yeah, just wanted to share that, and yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say.
I think I have already shared my story through your question. So I don't want to add more. Just I want to say that, see, in this journey, someone may clear it in first attempt or in second attempt. It may take fourth or fifth attempt or even sixth attempt. So don't get disheartened. And one thing I would say that keep your motivation always high. Because see, when you are preparing for such exams, you need support from few people. I was unlucky, I would say that I didn't get much support from my father, okay, but I got support from my sister. She was working, and in 2021 when I failed prelims again, then when I went to home, it was 10th of October. So I was crying that what I need to do, because in 2021 I wrote mains and I didn't qualify. I qualified prelims, but I didn't qualify mains, and I think I missed it by 40 marks. So when I didn't qualify prelims in 2021, I thought that I think it is the end of the journey. I should stop and I should continue my job, and now let get settled. So on 10th October, my mind was very puzzled. I think that was my worst day, but today I can say that was the best day that I can say. So on 10th October, I thought that what I should do, whether I should continue my job or whether I should leave or what to do. And my sister told me that since I got job, she got a good job also. So she told me that if you want, you can leave your job. I will help in whatever way I can help you. And even in the family, if someone needs anything, I am there. So you just go and keep aside all the worries. You just think that I am there to support you as well as your family. You don't need to think even a single thing about your family. So that was the support that my sister gave. In my office also, one of my senior ma'am, she had a lot of faith in me. So I called her that, ma'am, I am thinking that I should resign and I should prepare for UPSC fully. She told me that, okay, Pradeep, I think you should do. This is a very good decision. I know you will crack it. There is no doubt about it. So that if you have certain kind of people who have this kind of faith, I think those are the diamond. Okay, those are the jewel that you need. So always surround yourself with those kind of people who have faith in you, irrespective of circumstances. That I think that kept me motivated. And on 11th October, I resigned. On 16th November, I left Kolkata and went to Delhi. And in 2022 attempt, I qualified prelims, I qualified mains, I qualified interview. So that is the short, though not short journey. From 2021, it was short journey, but if you will look from 2017, it was a long journey. So that if that can motivate you, then I think I will be grateful. Thank you.
So just one thing I would like to add. Sorry. So he said that surround yourself with some people who will always support you. I just wanted to say that I was blessed with a very good group of friends who always motivated me regardless of what stage I was appearing in it. Two of my friends, I will name them. So Srijita and Moinul, they were always with me regardless of whichever stage I was. Though they had so much belief in me that I didn't have that much faith in myself. So the day that I told them that I qualified, then they were almost as happy as my father was. So that is one thing I would say, that as he said, that surround yourself with people who will always support you. They can be your friends, they can be your family, it can be anyone.
They will not let.
Hello everyone. A brief background about myself. I graduated in 2016 from NIT Durgapur, the BTech degree in Mechanical Engineering. After that, I worked for 2 years in Tata Motors Jamshedpur plant. I was in the manufacturing department, production department. So I started my preparation in the plant itself. I mean, while doing my job. But after giving 2 attempts, I thought I wasted just 2 attempts because it was not possible for me after 8 to 9 hours of job to come back in the hostel and study. So I resigned in 2018 and then started my preparation for civil services. So I think they have already mentioned about the common things, like you have to surround with positive people. But for my case, it was not so. I didn't have the support from my family because there were some financial issues. So it was not possible to continue solely on UPSC. So I was giving other exams also. My parents were pressurizing me to take any other job because I was already in a good job. So I resigned from there. So I tried to convince them, but they were every day they were pressurizing me, and I had few friends, 2-3 friends who always supported me, despite they were not into the process, but still from outside they even told that if you need any kind of financial help, you will always be there, and they were always with me. So surrounding yourself with positive people definitely helps a lot in case of motivation, and always try to have some backup plan, because these days UPSC is becoming very unpredictable. Earlier till 2020 you could have easily cleared prelims if you had some knowledge, but after seeing this year's paper, so I think it is very judicious to keep some backup plan after giving 2 full-fledged attempts, after working preparing for mains first and then prelims first. So I think they have already mentioned all the points, and overall it is a personality test. Though we think that we have to prepare for prelims, mains and then interview, but from failures, repeated failures, whatever I have observed is that it tests your personality. So try to build your personality from day one. Okay, if you are not accustomed to participate in debates or talks, try to participate in debates and discussion, especially with small groups of friends. Take any current issues. That will help in the process somehow. Okay, and it is an integrated process. So prelims, mains and interview should not be taken as separate stages. You have to interlink all the 3 stages. And finally, earlier I told you have to be innovative. Don't just blindly follow others, okay, and get demotivated. Sometimes we see many successful toppers whose story is completely different. You don't know their family background. You just see they have made it in the first attempt or second attempt. I know people who have made in the first attempt, but they were preparing for 5 years. Okay, yes, that's the practicality you won't see in the internet. Okay, so try to be realistic, try to be practical, try to understand yourself. This complete journey is all about understanding oneself. So be curative and innovative. When you are studying any topic, just have an inquisitive attitude. Like, why these are happening? And try to link with any kind of practical happenings. Like, don't just keep yourself restricted to the theoretical parts in the books. Whenever you are visiting any banks or doing any kind of office works, try to relate what scheme I had learned today in my UPSC purpose for GS3 or GS2, how they are implemented in real day-to-day life. So that is very important. It will help in formulating your own answers and your own opinions in the mains and interview stage. So I think this will give you an edge over other candidates who just mark the theoretical
So,
aspects. So
APTI Plus has really helped me honestly, because during my interview process, ma'am arranged I think around 3 1-to-1 mocks. Each one was very helpful, and they all pointed out some aspects of my DAF which were very important and which I needed to work on. My presentation skills, my communication skills, all the sirs gave very important advice. I also use some of the material to prepare certain aspects of my DAF also. Like my hobbies was playing chess. I used some of the material for that also. And ma'am has been very helpful. I think when I wanted to skip one one-to-one session, ma'am called me and said that don't do that, please attend.
in APTI Plus, I gave my first mock interview. Johri sir, who just left this room, he took my first mock interview. Okay, in my entire UPSC process. So yes, APTI Plus helped me in all aspects, not only regarding preparation, but whenever I needed any help regarding my customized DAF based questions and regarding hobby, as Ishan said. So APTI Plus always stood beside me. And current affairs magazine also, it was before the interview, it was helpful in quick revision. So point to point, it is a very good option. And in West Bengal especially, there are very few options. Okay, if you go to any other place, then you will find institutes flooded in the market. But in West Bengal, there are only few options. So APTI Plus is playing a very good role, and in future also, I hope it will support the students beyond examination for any kind of help. Yes.
Regarding APTI Plus, as you know that I was a student in 2017 and 18 batch. So regarding support, I would say that APTI Plus has supported me a lot, especially during prelims. When I qualified prelims twice, I used to come here to write main stage series. Even if some teacher is taking class, they used to arrange in another flat just beside it, and they used to arrange it for only for me to write the main stage series. So this much extent that they can go, that if you are qualifying prelims or if you are qualifying mains, they are there with you. And even in the interview guidance program, they helped a lot by conducting mock interview and giving feedback. And one of the most important program that I would recommend is the quiz, Telegram quiz that they used to conduct. So I was a student of that quiz for 3-4 years continuously. What I used to do, that if some new question is coming in the quiz, I used to write down, or I used to note down in my notes, or I will take a picture and then I will read in my office in the leisure time. So that type of thing you can do if you are working. So that they basically help to me in qualifying prelims. So that is the thing. Thank you.
First of all, my heartiest congratulations to all of you. My question is how to make proper notes. Any tips for note making? Should be lengthy, precise.
Look, this differs from people to person to person. There are people who will like micro notes better. I didn't like micro notes. I needed some proper lengthy notes so that I could revise and read. So this differs from person to person. What I used to do is, I used to read one topic. For instance, I'll give an example of the NCERT geographies, right? I read for instance, let us assume that physical geography one, okay? I read the entire book twice. After that, I made proper notes from it. If I had highlighted and underlined some portions from the book. When I was making notes, those same things that I had underlined, I wrote it down in my own language in my notes, right? My notes were a little comprehensive. They were not micro notes. I never did make my micro notes because I was very uncomfortable with it. So yeah, that was a process I followed. But do not. One thing I would suggest, regardless of whatever type of note you're making, do not make notes after your first reading. Okay, because in those times it's a process, internal process. We will miss out on this point. We will write down the entire page. End में ये हो जाएगा कि सारे के सारे पूरा जो book होगा वो लिख लोगे तुम अपने notes में. So don't make notes after your first reading. Wait till your second or third reading, and then you can make notes. Right?
Yes, note making is very important in this process. For each and every subject, you will have to make notes. Be it essay, ethics, every GS optional, detailed note making is very important. Otherwise, you won't be able to revise and remember at the time of exam. Okay, and yes, person to person it varies. Someone prefers online mode of note making. Personally, I prefer in hard copy, making notes in A4 sheets, and detailed notes. That's also I will prefer over micro notes, because I am not going to open the book again and again. And as he mentioned, you should make notes only after at least reading and understanding the topics after 3 or 4 times. Okay, just don't make a note out of the book and again compile a book in itself. So for a 100 pages book, you may maximum make notes 30-40 pages. Okay, and also try to be innovative while making notes, like diagrams or flowchart or table format. This will help in implementing the things in the answer copy when you will be actually writing the mains answer. So yes, try to strategize yourself in note making.
So in my case, I made micro notes. So one notes was comprehensive notes, that if I read one book and I have made note out of that, I won't read that book again. So I will read only my notes. That was my case. But in case of revision, for revision purpose, like for mains or for prelims, so last 7 days, if I want to revise all those subjects in 7 days, so that is not possible with comprehensive notes. Someone can use marker. In that way, they can also revise. But what I used to do, that before prelims in 7 to 8 days, I used to revise all the books. All the notes. So for that, I used to make micro notes. For environment, 20-30 pages. For art and culture, 10 pages, like that. So you can use as per your means capacity or as per your understanding. So it may vary person to person.
From when should we start practicing answer writing, and how should we improve that? Because we are just starting our preparation now. Practicing now, it just demotivates. Like, it's not appropriate right now. So from when should we do that?
I'm glad you raised that point. It's very demotivating if you start from the very beginning, which is something I would like to say to everyone. Don't start answer writing from the very first day of preparation. You won't have content. You will feel like, what am I writing? क्यों लिख रहा हूँ मैं? क्यों कर रहा हूँ मैं ये? So don't do that. Right time, I would say, if you want to start answer writing, right time is, I would say, it's after prelims. Okay, because prelims, those 3 months of you will be preparing comprehensive for prelims only, right? After prelims, you will have this year you have 4 months. Next year also, I think you have 4 months only for preparation for mains. 4 months is more than enough time to prepare your answer writing skills, building your content. That is more than enough time, because during mains you will have that motivation कि I have to write the mains, I have to study really hard. वो motivation सब में रहेगा. Okay, and how to improve your answer writing? That will happen as when you build your own content, when you practice more answer writing. I used to do daily answer writing during my mains preparation. I used to practice the previous year questions. Previous year questions are very important. Attempt those questions. If you're not attempting those questions, if you don't have time to write it, at least think and brainstorm. This is the question. I would have written these points in this question if I had gotten this question. Okay, so practice. Only with practice you will start to improve. If it is possible, get it evaluated. If it's not, then anyways you will be attempting mock tests only. So that will be evaluated. So yeah, I used to follow a format of intro and body and conclusion. Intro is 2-3 lines, not more than that. And if you're writing any data, try to write it in the body and not in the intro and the conclusion. And don't, if it's GS 1, 2, 3 paper, please don't finish with quotes in your conclusion. Only use quotes in your ethics paper. Otherwise, avoid using quotes. Use diagrams. Diagrams, flowcharts, statistics and data is important. So that, and yeah.
Yes, starting from day one, it is not possible to write answers. Okay, only after you have a strong foundation and a concept, then only you will be able to write answers. And regarding current affairs is only 30%, I think, for personally, because in mains, if you have seen the previous year questions, then if you are having a stronghold in the static portion, then only you will be able to answer the mains questions. Okay, so try to thoroughly understand the NCERT and read the standard books. And one thing you can do, at the back of the NCERT chapter, there are few questions, okay, in geography, history, in the books, so you can attempt writing those answers. It will help you in initial days. So, and enriching your answers, it will come after lots of answer writing. Like, you will have to do lots of answer writing, you will have to make rough, and while making the mistakes, you will learn from each step how much data you need because if you read any monthly magazine or anything, it will be flooded with data. But in real exam, you won't be able to memorize all the data. It's not practically possible. So only the major data that is necessary you will be able to extract after writing the answers yourself.
For answer writing, I would say that I think one platform is provided by APTI Plus. I don't know whether it is there.
Yes.
So what happens that once your modern history syllabus is completed, they will give you questions based on the previous year's question, and then you can write and get it evaluated. So parallelly you can do it. So once your first or second division is completed, at least you come to know that how you need to write. Because once you know how you need to write, then you have to add a lot of things. So first basic framework is needed, and that framework will take some time. Once that framework is built, then you can add on based on your knowledge, fact, data, etc. So I think that will take some time, but after that you will be able to complete the issue, etc.
I had one more question. So for CSAT, what should be the approach? Like, should we attempt only the ones which we are sure, both for GS1 and CSAT, both? Like the GS1 patterns, it's really difficult now. Since guesswork is getting a little different, a little difficult. So what should be the approach?
As per my experience, because I have a lot of friends who are clearing prelims since last 3-4 years continuously, for paper 1 at least. Some are facing problem in CSAT. Okay, but for paper 1, I know many of my friends, they are clearing prelims since last 3-4 years continuously. People are saying the question is tough, question is difficult, there is issue, we cannot guess anything. But if this is the case, how they can clear? So what I personally feel, I am not saying that I am perfect, okay, but what I personally feel that if you will attempt more questions, see the questions that are coming, if you will see the randomness has increased. Earlier you used to get 10-15 questions from polity, 10-15 questions from modern history. So you can, if you have read thoroughly, you can make it correct. But now the randomness has increased. Okay, so you need to build that tactics through practice. This is my case, what I would say. Okay, I might be differ from other people and what I have analyzed. So you need to see the question that all people are knowing, that are coming from a standard book, that will not get you selected. Okay, the question which other can't attempt, that will make you enlist. So how you need to attempt those questions, only it will come through practice. So how you tackle those questions which you know that you had read somewhere, but you don't know exactly. Like I think there were question I was seeing. One question was on biotechnology, like this year. The question was not directly from. I'm forgetting one question. That was, I think, accelerometer or something. No? One question was there. So that was not coming directly through current affair topic. The same topic that was covered through different institute, and whatever they had given, the question was not directly from that. Even if you have read those current affairs, you cannot attempt the question. So this is the randomness of the question. So somehow you need to make a wild guess. Not wild guess, calculated risk. Okay, so that risk will come only when you will attempt more practice. So that I have seen. And regarding GS2, since CSAT paper, so in 2019 I got 65 marks. I had cleared paper 1, but I got stuck in paper 2. Just got 65 marks I got. So from there I changed my strategy, and I didn't face any issue as such right now. And I have shared this strategy to many people. So first try to attempt English question, 30 questions or 28 questions in 30 or 35 minutes. That is the key. So even if you can get 24 or 25 right, then you need only 10 or 15 questions. But don't think that, okay, I will carefully make 10 questions correct. You try to attempt more questions. Like my strategy for CSAT was, I will attempt 30 questions in 30 or 35 minutes, and after that I will choose reasoning. Whatever I can make it right in 1 minute or 30 seconds or 45 minutes, I will choose only that, and rest I will leave. And then in last stage, I will choose only those questions that I know that I can make it, but that would take 2 or 3 minutes.